Relationships are like a dance. It's an everlasting back and forth between two or sometimes more people. The thing is, you are sacrificing your solitude and sharing your time with another. This inevitably demands certain compromises. If there is no compromise, one side inevitably suffers. But the problem is that there are women who do not refrain from employing insidious tactics, and you don't even realize that you are being manipulated. Today, we explore 5 ways she might be manipulating you. So pay attention. Number 1. Is she there for you? What I mean by that is that she only treats you nicely when she wants something. Now, keeping the balance in a relationship is great. It's like the golden standard of a good relationship, one which makes both sides equally satisfied. However, if her approach to you in general lacks any form of care or compassion, and she acts nice only when she's expecting something in return, then the alarm bell in your head should be ringing. It's like a friend that's only there when things are going well. But the moment you start getting into trouble or are going through a rough time, they are nowhere to be found. It is of great importance that you are able to recognize these people in your lives and then stop associating with them. They will not help you on your life's quest in any way. They can only distract you from your path and become a nuisance that drains you of your energy. The problem is that the women who behave in such a way know all the tips and tricks on how to hook you and keep you hooked. And they use these tactics with perfection. So, more often than not, you don't even realize you've been ensnared. So, if you believe you might be in such a relationship, just ask yourself if your partner ever did a selfless act to help you in any way. These acts are normal in a good quality relationship. You do each other small acts of kindness to help each other on your paths. It's like having each other's back without wanting anything in return, because you know they will support you when you need it. So if this is missing from your relationship, it is highly likely you are being used. Number 2. How's the sex? The behavior we just talked about is probably most easily noticed in the bedroom. Sex is sometimes a really interesting way to pass the time. But when you are in a really serious relationship, it mostly turns into a deeply passionate and highly intimate experience. If that's the case, it could be easy to notice if she has your best interests at heart. We're not talking about the quantity of sex here, as that is a completely different issue. We are talking about the quality of sex, and that is something that should be on both of your minds. If she seems to be unconcerned about your satisfaction in bed, you can be fairly certain she is pulling your chain, no pun intended. This can also be manifested in her inability to talk about sexual topics or explore ways you can sexually please each other. If she utterly neglects the fact that sex is supposed to be a mutually fulfilling, intimate connection between two people, then it's time to face the truth. She is probably just using you until she finds someone better. Number 3. Is she easily irritated? The one key telltale sign you are being used by a woman is when she gets irritated if you attempt to ask her important questions. These questions are usually related to your relationship, future plans, or the aforementioned mutual sex gratification. You see, when you delve into these topics, she feels under attack because she knows she is not committed to the relationship, and you are on the way to realizing that. She might try to shrug it off, quickly change the topic, and, if you are persistent, she will get irritated and try to get out of the conversation that way. So instead of engaging in meaningful conversations about your relationship and your future together, she never gives clear answers to any of your questions, or just evades answering them one way or another. If any of this rings a bell, there's something wrong, and you should probably get to the bottom of it before it's too late. Number 4. Does she lead you on? If the woman you are with is using you, she might be really adept at it. If she took things to another level, she might not just evade talking about your relationship. Instead, she might lead you on, giving you a false sense of hope, but never really stepping up to the plate and delivering on her promises. This is a harder nut to crack than the previous examples, but don't worry. If you recall my previous videos, I always instruct men to be open and clear about their intentions. So if she is leading you on, just be retrospective about your relationship and ask yourself, Does she ever follow through with her promises? Look into the previous examples of her behavior and ask yourself if you've noticed those too. You should be able to see a pattern emerging, and at that point, all you have to do is be truthful with yourself and admit to yourself that you are being manipulated. If you're still not sure, check out my video on the 5 clear signs she's manipulating you and see if those are present in your relationship. Number 5. Is she embarrassed of you? The final thing that is a dead giveaway is if she feels embarrassed of you in public spaces. Now, this is going to be a hard pill to swallow, but the sooner you get it over with, the better. Women are looking for the highest value man they can find. When they don't find him, they settle for less, but only for the time being. In that case, they might be with a man just because he is currently the best option, or he provides them with something like financial security. But deep down, they loathe this man and often display it in public spaces. Maybe she avoids public displays of affection or outright denies being in a relationship at all. Maybe she is deliberately trying to keep your relationship a secret and she gave you some lame-ass excuse to play along. Now comes the hardest part, and you are not going to like it. If you had been a high-value man in the first place, with a strong purpose and firm footing in reality, you wouldn't be in this situation to begin with. But it's never too late. Check out my video library to learn why and how to become a successful man with a fulfilling life. And if you follow my advice, I promise you'll become stronger than ever before. If you don't know where to start, I suggest learning how to 10x your life by rejecting modernity and following stoicism.